Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by Ghostbed.com.
Yeah, baby. Welcome to Drinking Bros Sports Tailgate Legend Show, the Monday recap on Drinking Bros Sports. There was a lot of hockey talk in that chat, not a lot of hockey talk on the actual podcast. So we thought today we would give the fans what they want.
We're people pleasers. That's what we do.
Yes, that's what we do. And so we're going to talk all things hockey. And for that, we had to bring in an expert because we're not hockey experts. So we've got Jeff from What the Puck podcast.
What's up, guys?
Formerly, you were with the Redvolution Rampage, which was kind of like the Carolinas thing. Much respect to you because you said, you know what, this is a little bit too politically correct, a little too corporate franchise-style podcast. You want to branch off and really talk hockey. So you started your own show called What the Puck.
Well,
And I love it.
well, let's just say it was kind of like having a really bad breakup with a partner.
Okay.
And like a female partner, and maybe you did something wrong in the bedroom, and you were just politically incorrect in the bed.
Okay.
And that's kind of like what it was.
Your oral game was weak.
Or too much anal.
Oh,
Or
I'm
not
sure.
enough anal.
Maybe you got
Depends how
caught
you look
watching
at it.
porn.
Oh, I was really good
all
at the
been
oral
there.
part. That's what got me in trouble.
We've all been there. But you branched off to start What the Puck. You've got your own little cult following because you go to all the Hurricane games wearing a kilt. What are you? Like, people know you as...
So the last couple of seasons, I created a alter ego called the Kilted Caniac.
That's it. That's what I was looking for.
Caniac.
I would go to the games. I was really well known for getting on the Jumbotron, dancing in my kilt.
You ever lift it up, give them a little show?
Give 'em a little...
What do you wear under a kilt? You just wear shorts, Spanx?
If you wear underwear under a
So-
kilt, it's not a kilt, it's a skirt.
Do you want to feel the breeze when it's underneath there, or what? How's that go?
So I kept it PG-13. I did wear Spanx under there just because I did enjoy my seat. And when you're in public like that, every now and then someone is tempted
You don't want
to
to be
lift it.
a sex offender, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So,
fair enough.
Especially when you get on the Jumbotron and showing off your junk to the whole entire arena plus the boys on the bench. It's... I mean, I could have gotten some other fans that way.
Dicks
but
out for Harambe, baby. Dicks out for Harambe.
We are live today from Instill Distilling Company, and we are drinking Hurricanes, go figure, because we're just outside of Raleigh, and of course, Raleigh's team is the Carolina Hurricanes.
Know what's cool about the Carolina Hurricanes, though? The last 2 seasons, the Bruins have ended their season. That's what's cool about the Carolina Hurricanes. And they're originally from Connecticut, so there's that Northeast connection always.
No, it
I
really
just thought I'd
sucks.
throw that in there, you know.
No, it really sucks about Massachusetts, the Bruins.
Well, this show today is brought to you by Killcliff and Killcliff CBD, as well as Ghostbed.com. We're excited to be here with you today. We've got some, this is a tailgate show, right? So we're tailgating with you. You actually brought us the sex expert last time she was in town. Susie.
Yes.
What was her podcast again?
Just press foreplay.
Just
You got to say it like
press
that, too. Very
I
sensual.
was on a drive down to Florida and I listened to it. Got
Moist?
way too horny. Way too horny. I had to turn it off.
Noel doesn't like the word moist. Sorry, a little
Nobody
head shake.
does, though. Like, you ruin... Everything is ruined by that word. We just lost, 6 followers because you use that word.
Moist, like a towelette.
But today we are talking all things hockey.
Yep.
I like your podcast because you talk to a lot of people across the pond.
Yes.
How did that come about?
All right, so I was in the Air Force for 14 years.
Oh, shit. So you're a veteran as well?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
This is where you say thank you for my service.
Yes. Thank you for my service.
You are very welcome. But at the same time, I got to say the same thing to Eric, too. So
Yeah. We say it to each other. I say thank you for my service, and you tell me thank you for your service.
And I just sit and watch
And he just...
because she was in that other branch,
Yeah. So
that other one.
now, when you talk to all these guys across the pond, I love their accents. Way cooler than Boston Joe's. And so you met all those guys through the Air Force. Did you play hockey in the Air Force? How did you meet all these athletes across the pond?
So it all started when I first moved over to England. Well, got stationed over in England. I reached out to a bunch of Air Force guys that played hockey on base. From there, it just kind of branched out. They introduced me to a Royal Air Force hockey team. From there, the way that I kind of made my stance is I play goalie. I've kind of taken a hiatus over the last year and a half.
Goldberg. Sorry.
No, I
that's
don't
my
have a
goalie
jail
reference.
record. I'm sorry. I don't snore anything. So
Is that what Goldberg's up to these days?
Yeah, he
supposedly.
got real skinny.
So he's not
Yes.
in the the Mighty
No, I
Ducks
think he
reunion.
was. I think he was. He wasn't?
No.
Damn it.
Oh.
I haven't seen it yet, so.
You're missing out because it's on episode 7 or 8, I think.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's pretty decent, but it's just the opposite because instead of being called the Mighty Ducks, they're called the, anyway, just watch the show. It's a really great show.
Okay. Is there like a copyright thing? They can't be called the Mighty Ducks, or?
No, it's just kind of like the opposite because in the TV series, the Mighty Ducks are actually if you've seen the original series, they're now the Knights or the Eagles. Their attitude is like they're better than everybody else, and so yeah,
A little role reversal.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I gotta step in real quick before you tell us more about your service. But a hockey goalie, it's almost like being a catcher in baseball, except crazier. You almost have to be a certified psychopath to be like, I'm going to play hockey, and guess what? I'm going to be goalie. You got to be nuts.
Well, I ain't exactly saying.
I mean, with all due respect, though, I mean, it could be the most important position in all of sports. One could maybe argue quarterback in football, but
It's
goalie,
the same thing.
Right? It's very similar. And, I mean, you're just signing yourself up to look like and act like a turtle and just get slap shots and have probably the most difficult position in all of sports, arguably, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be crazy to sign up for something like that.
So I'm not sure how good the camera is, but I got a scar like right about here on my head. About a year and a half ago, I was playing in a game. Thank God it was a lower level game. And my helmet got knocked off during play. I was down on the ice, and when I went to look up, the ref wasn't paying attention, and someone took a shot and dinged right off my dome, split me wide open. My first reaction was, "Oh crap, I'm gonna need stitches," and then I'm like, "Oh shit, they might have super glue." So the rink staff came on the ice, came over, looked at it. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna need stitches." I'm like, "No, get the super glue, clean it out." They sprayed it off, wiped it off, and everything. Threw the super glue on it. About 20 minutes later, I was like, "All right, boys, we still have a game and a half left. Let's get back to playing." And
like
we
a
ended
true
up,
hockey player would.
You know what's funny is, what do they call that? Like synchronicity? That's what it's called, right? When your lives are like synced up, like shit just happens.
No, that's when like you and me get our periods at the same time.
Yeah. Well, playing rugby, real man sport, this
there we
weekend,
go.
I split my eyes open and they super glued my eyes.
You
see
fell
on
down the stairs,
YouTube,
says Ashley.
You see on the YouTube, I've got the old super glue, which makes it look like they just packed clay in my face. But yes, so the battle scar. Does it hurt when you get hit? No, obviously, when you don't have your helmet on, it hurts. Does it hurt when you have all the pads on and you're catching pucks?
It all depends. I mean, I got a really well broken in glove, so a lot of times when I do catch the puck, depending on the shooter, I can feel it. One of the hardest shots I've faced over the last couple of years is the guy was playing, or used to play like semi-pro or what would also be recognized in baseball as like AAA baseball. He took the shot so hard that it hit my jock strap. I mean, I felt it all the way through my jockstrap. I thought my nuts were bleeding. It was that hard. It still had enough speed on it to drop on the ice, kind of like how Tuukka Rask should have had that save the other day. It just drizzled into the net, and I'm like sitting there. I throw my hand down my pants to make sure nothing's bleeding, so everything's still attached, and everything was. But it took me a good 5 minutes just to kind of like regain myself.
Yeah, that's why you're a psycho if you sign up to play goalie, because I would just be worried about my nuts every time I see someone like on a breakaway coming my way. It's like, I don't really care if he scores. I just don't want him to hit me right in the jewels.
But at the same time, before we get into the games, if you didn't watch the Vegas game the other day, even though they did lose, Marc-Andre Fleury put on a show.
I mean, he's still around. How old is he now? He's got to be in his
36, 37 years old.
Really? Feels like he's been around forever.
Yeah. He just reached a milestone, 15 consecutive postseason games.
Helps when you're with the Penguins and said the kid for all those years too. But he's been around for a long time. So, like you said, respect to him for sure, especially when you're playing that position. But the goalie for the Capitals, I can't think of his name right now. He's like 50 years old too, though. What the fuck is his name? I don't remember his name, but he's an old man. But speaking of goalies, there was an emergency goalie situation last year, right?
Was that
With
David Ayers?
Hurricanes.
Dave Ayers, whatever. He was 42.
Nothing like hockey, right? There's almost like a romantic thing to hockey where that's not going to happen
like
in any
Pirates,
other sport.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very romanticized.
Sure. Like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Very romanticized.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Pittsburgh
Zamboni
Pirates.
driver getting pulled off the Zamboni to come and play goalie. That's pretty wild. Like, that doesn't happen in other sports.
That would never happen in baseball, never happen in football. Definitely not in basketball.
And I think you were here that night,
Yeah.
actually, which is funny because you've only been here a handful of times. And you guys were actually doing the Red Volution podcast. That was the one time y'all did it here.
Yep.
It was sponsored by Instill Distilling Company. You guys were set up. I didn't know anything about hockey. I just remember one of the other hosts on that show, he came running to the bar because the bar's kind of separate from the distillery. And he was like, Tansy, get the fuck in here. I'm sorry for saying fuck. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And he was like, come out here and watch this. And I came out and they were explaining it to me and I got to see it. I've never even seen a full hockey game,
So a funny story about that.
but I was pumped.
So that was a miracle. I mean, that was one of the greatest miracles in NHL history. I mean, they're even making a movie out of that. I think it's a Lifetime or Disney.
Lifetime.
Either Disney or Lifetime. I think
Lifetime
picked it up.
television for lesbians.
If I'm correct, I believe it might be Disney. But the funny story about that is it was on the same night of the 40th anniversary of the 1980 Winter Olympic Miracle on
the
Ice.
true miracle.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
What?
So
We'll
it was
get to
just
that.
ironic.
Synchronicity.
Yeah. It was ironic that it happened
all
on
part
that
of it.
night.
Manifest your destiny.
Manifest your destiny.
That's what you think about.
Boston Joe's all into that weird Egyptian shit, and he's always trying to ask me my zodiac sign and tell me what my mood is based on the moon and stars.
I don't give a fuck about your zodiac sign. You motherfucker.
Is that why you got all those mood rings on, Joe?
That's why I have the beaded bracelets. But since we're talking about the Miracle on Ice, what's your favorite hockey movie? Is that it?
No.
Oh, what's the one where the
but-
figure skater he gets hurt and he has to become a figure skater?
The Cutting Edge, I do
Cutting
believe.
Edge. Oh God, this is my mom's favorite movie.
What about Slapshot?
We had it on
Slapshot's probably your
VHS.
favorite?
Actually, my favorite hockey movie, and I'm going to get back to the Miracle on Ice because I have a close relation to that. What were
Sorry,
we
we've
ta-
got
oh,
more
favorite
fans
hockey
walking
movie.
into the distillery.
Dave Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, the drummer from As We All Float. Anyway, proceed.
So my favorite hockey movie would have to be Youngblood.
Can't say I've seen that one.
There's nothing like seeing Rob Lowe's butt.
Ooh, Rob Lowe. Is this like
And nothing but
cocaine, fucking addicted to sex?
Now
Rob
I'm gonna
Lowe?
have to-
Or-
Probably. I mean, he walks out of the hockey locker room going after the coach's daughter, and he's in nothing but his jockstrap, and his butt cheeks are hanging out. I'm
That
not
is
gay.
Boston Joe's kind of movie.
I'm not gay or anything, but I mean, Rob Lowe's butt and nothing but a jockstrap. I mean, it's quite appealing.
We all have those.
I am a
actors that-
heterosexual man. Rob Lowe is a very handsome man. Even he's got to be like in his 50s. He was on Rogan not too long ago, and he told a pretty cool story about Lucille Ball, that he went up and had to do some stupid skit for like the Academy Awards or something, and he was feeling like shit after, like he's a big sellout, and he goes and sits down, and a woman grabs his hand and tells him it's going to be all right, you're going to make it, and he looks over and it's Lucille Ball, and he said that he was like in his early 20s, and that the rest of the show she just held his hand. He's like, I've never had a moment in Hollywood quite like when Lucille Ball decided to hold my hand throughout the Academy Awards.
You think he took her to bed?
I think she was much older than him at that time, but the thing is with Lucy, if I were to bet Lucille Ball, would she be in black and white when I'm betting her?
Yeah, and
Like
she,
I'm
you know,
in full color, but she's
Yeah.
just black and white, and she's like trying to eat chocolates while she's doing it.
Yeah, so you would be in full color. She'd be black and white, and you guys would both be on a Ghostbed. Speaking of
yeah, we
Ghostbed,
would.
they have been loyal sponsors with the Drinking Bros for over the past 5 years. Everyone raves about them. They have super comfortable mattresses that last forever. 20-year warranty on each mattress, made in the good old USA, baby.
What team do you play for?
That's right, USA.
the United States of America.
You can try
No.
Ghostbeds out for 101 nights. If you're not satisfied, you can easily return them. Each Ghostbed mattress has cooling technology, cool as ice, baby, so that you're not hot at night. Literally, the mattresses are amazing. Right now, Ghostbed is offering a flash sale, 40% off Ghostbed bundles, where you get a mattress and adjustable base. 40%
40% off is wild.
Fucking, that's huge,
How
bro.
do you not go out and buy yourself
Look,
a bed?
Ross
I mean, come
Patterson,
on.
the Godfather himself, just bought his, and he's the owner of this entire Tetherball Academy, just bought a new ghost bed for his upstairs bedrooms. Everybody's still getting them. Hot Bob just got one recently. He's got a child on the way. The reason why everybody's getting them is because they're 40% off if you use the promo code Drinking Bros, or it's 30% off of everything. Again, that's ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. Adjustable base. Best in its class, very low price. You save thousands compared to others. I say it all the time. My wife and I have been big fans of Ross Patterson Revolution, all the shows that are on the Tetherball Network. When it came time for us to look for a bed, it was a no-brainer for us because we've heard so much about Ghostbed. So
I heard Elkin was conceived on a ghost bed. Is this true? Can you confirm this?
No, he was conceived in a bathroom at a wedding. But we gave him his name while laying on a ghost bed. But right now you can buy a mattress, $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing, ghostbed.com/drinking bros. Anyway, sorry about that shameless plug.
No worries. And you know what? I'm going to do another shameless plug for the miracle is, if I was able to get one of those beds and find the right woman, I'd have Herb Brooks on repeat, blowing his whistle again, again and
again.
Blue line, red line to red line, lady.
Yeah.
Red line to red line.
Yeah, bend over and take it again.
You know Ben? Are you familiar with Ben? Bend over? Boom. There's that cue there, Noel. There's the.
Yeah, he's my next door neighbor.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. But I remember the first time I watched Miracle. I was a little kid. I didn't know anything about it. And the ironic
haven't
part.
seen it.
Oh Jesus! The ironic part about Miracle, how's this for a transition? Is there was right in the beginning. I think it's one of the first scenes. They're all standing in line to go get gas, just like a lot of us were recently.
Oh yeah.
Except for me, because I know it was all bullshit, and there was people filling up trash bags with gasoline. And I went today, and I went to my local Sheets, and there was nobody in line, and it was like it never happened. So all those people who were going wild about the gas shortage were the same people with the toilet paper thing. Get over it. It's all media blowing smoke up your ass, and you were fooled by it, but I was not. I got my gas, didn't worry about it. So anyway, back to Miracle.
Wish we could all be as smart as Boston Joe. Wish we could all be as smart as Boston Joe.
Is that like one of the true American inspirational movies, though? You want to run through a brick wall after you watch it.
I mean, it's on the same par as Rocky.
It is. It
What
really
a patriot.
is. And the funny part is it was in 1980. I was born in 1981, and my mom worked in Lake Placid during that time. She was actually working at the Hilton. Howard Johnson's. My apologies. Howard Johnson's.
Good old Howard.
And she actually got to babysit for the likes of Peggy Fleming and another couple figure skaters as well, too, that were in the Olympics. And she was telling me that the day that the USA won against Russia, or at the time USSR, the rink was probably about maybe 3.5, 4 miles down the road from where she worked, and you could hear the rumble from the crowd. My music teacher in elementary school, she was one of the ones to play the national anthems during the Olympics. I only grew up an hour and a half north of Lake Placid. So I've been to Lake Placid. I've skated on the ice rinks, both the 1980 Miracle Ice as well as the 1936 games, I think it was, that was held there.
Nothing gets Americans off quite like beating a bunch of commies, especially at their own game. I mean, they were outmatched. There was a bunch of like college dudes from Boston and like Michigan, Mike Ruzioni and those boys, and they're like, I love that scene. What's his face who's playing Herb Brooks, talking about they got Chekhov and something off and another off, and so it's all these like Russian studs, and it was David versus Goliath in every sense of the word.
Oh yeah.
The only little thing that it doesn't take away from it, but people forget that wasn't the gold medal game. They had to go beat, was it Switzerland to win the gold?
Sweden.
Sweden.
They played Sweden.
Shit, I was hoping it was going to be Iceland. That was in Mighty Ducks too.
So funny story about Iceland, since we're talking about, since we threw that in there.
Quack.
Quack's back, Jack.
During the time of when the Mighty Ducks were filming that movie, Iceland didn't really have a hockey team. I was over in Iceland back in 2017, it was, right before I got out of the military. And I was trying to talk with one of the locals, and he was like, yeah, we didn't know anything about that back then. Hockey's just kind of like made its way not too long ago, but...
Jeez.
Yeah.
Is that like almost not racist, but they just assumed like, oh, there's a lot of ice there, and it's a bunch of like Nordic
Well, isn't
white
Iceland
people.
green and Greenland's ice?
Yeah.
Well, which one did Trump want to buy? Greenland, so he could golf there or some shit. I don't know what the hell he wanted to do with that.
But yeah, like they said in the Mighty Ducks, Iceland is Iceland, but Greenland is Meanland.
So,
Yeah.
so what's your favorite Mighty Ducks movie then? Is the original one the best one?
I'm gonna have to go with the original.
Really, I'm D2 all the way.
D2.
The second one might be a little bit better, honestly.
When they bring out those Duck jerseys, they get rid of the Hendrix USA jerseys. I was fired up, baby.
I don't know. I mean, the original was it was something different. You had all the adult hockey movies, and then you bring in this like nonchalant nobodies and like.
Well, you got Emilio Estevez. I mean, come on, fresh off of Breakfast Club, doing backflips after he gets stoned. Is that not one of the goofiest scenes in all of movie history, though? He like smokes a joint for the first time. He's like, "My dad will kill me. I'm an athlete." And he starts like doing backflips, back handsprings through the halls of the school.
Do you know I've never tried marijuana ever?
Yeah, it's because you're a cop, you narc.
I'm not a cop anymore. I
You
was
were,
a
though.
cop, but I've just never tried it. I grew up
think
surfing my whole life.
We should do a live show where you try the pot.
I don't know. I think at this point,
I would
you
love
just
to
kinda,
do that show.
Right?
you
Wouldn't
kinda
that be
just go
awesome?
with it, you know what I mean?
You might not even get high your
it's a
first time.
thing.
I didn't get high my first times. But the
I
second
don't-
time I smoked,
I don't
want
want to turn out to be like you or Noel. So
Let's go to
I'm good.
let's go to Colorado and do this show.
Yeah, let's do. Oh yeah, I forgot it's
We'll save it
illegal
for
in
the-
this state
We'll
of
save
North
it for the
Carolina.
Rockies. We'll save it for the Rockies team. Speaking of Colorado and the Rockies, playoffs.
Well,
Playoffs?
the Rockies are baseball. The Rockies are baseball.
I know, but Colorado's got some hockey. Don't
Yeah,
The
they do.
Avalanche.
they? The Avalanche. We're in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
How do you see the Canes? You know what? Listen, I've never been to a hockey. I mean, I've never watched a full hockey game. We got to
Been
go
to
to
a
a
hockey
Hurricanes game a couple months ago.
How'd that go?
That was my first shot at actually going to see a full game. We got kicked out in the second quarter because of mask violations.
Second quarter.
They had a second quarter.
Second
Period, my friend.
The
Period.
second period, they told us that we've been warned too many times about the masks, and therefore they threw us out. Texas, though, we were at 78,000 people in Jerry World, not one mask.
Well, North Carolina just lifted their mask mandate.
They're
so-
still wearing it at the hockey game.
Yeah,
I
you
watched
have
it
to wear
last
that.
night.
Well, yeah,
and
whatever.
there's still
That's your own choice.
Every single person's wearing one.
At this
no,
point-
they're not going to let you in that stadium
No.
without a mask.
No.
Then what's the point of lifting the mask mandate?
Well, you got to trust the political science on this one. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Everybody's got a different agenda out there. Some are not. Some are doing it. It all depends on which state you are.
The only science
it's all just very annoying.
The only science I trust is Weird Science from the 80s.
Oh, that was a great movie.
Yes, it was.
Great movie. I'd like
I
to
was
say I
not
trusted
alive.
Bill Nye until I found out that he's not a real scientist.
No, he is not.
Not even close. So
I trusted Bill Nye until he went full on Seahawks with Deflategate with the Patriots and tried to talk about how Tom Brady's a cheater and all this stuff because he's a big Seahawks fan. So
fucking cat calling the kettle black. You're a liar.
Yeah,
You're not
so
a
Bill
fucking
Nye, you can get
scientist.
fucked.
You're not a scientist, Bill Nye. I'm just kidding. I still love Bill Nye. It sucks, man. It's like, to be honest with you, it was like finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real. I was real disappointed.
Wait. Santa Claus isn't real? The next
No,
thing
he
you're
is.
gonna
He's
do-
real. He's
Or
real.
like,
Hey,
or like
okay.
finding out Dr. Phil isn't a real doctor.
No, he's
you
not.
gotta get real.
Stop. Are you serious? Dr. Phil's not a real doctor?
No, he's just Oprah's friend.
Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys for ruining my dreams.
I mean, the whole doctor thing is very wishy-washy now, right, Jill Biden?
But you know what?
Just kidding.
I do
Anyway.
like Dr. Phil. My wife will attest that I used to, when I was a cop on night shift, I had to wake up before Dr. Phil came on because it was like a ritual. It was like good luck thing. If I didn't watch my Dr. Phil before I went to work, it was going to be a bad night. But one thing I didn't like about Dr. Phil was how much makeup he wore. Jeez, man, let it go.
Well-
Come on, you're getting old. Just let it happen, baby.
I bet I can one-up you on what's worse because if I Google real quick Dr. Phil's net worth, how much do you think he's worth?
Oh, millions.
$460 million.
Yeah, so he doesn't care. He's like, Eric, you don't like my makeup?
It pays
You're
off
fucking-
being friends with Oprah.
Yeah, gosh.
So are you telling me that Dr. Hauser and Dr. House and
Dr.
That's
J?
different.
Dr.
What
J
about
are
Dr.
not
J?
doctors?
Dr. J's
Well,
a doctor.
Tansy actually met
On the
Dr.
court.
J in
I did.
Dallas. He met Julius Irving in Dallas.
did
That's
I?
what he's been telling everyone at least. Remember?
Sorry, it was Michael Irvin.
There you go. Mike,
not
you got
Irving.
it right. Yep. There's no G at the end. The playmaker himself.
Listen,
who's
Chuck
a
Liddell
rad
goes,
dude.
you do know who that is, right? And I go, no. And he goes, it's Michael Irvin. I go, looks pretty short to be a basketball player. And he goes, Oh, I'm going to fucking beat your ass.
He asked what year you were born, and then when he found out that you were around for the
Speaking of Chuck
Cowboys.
Liddell in sports, and since we're tailgating, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. That Icebreakers podcast with Chuck Liddell, it's fire, man. He is such, like, that's Chuck Liddell. He is so unapologetically himself. It's amazing. Like, that guy, he's so genuine. And when he's talking on that microphone, it's the same way as when he talks to you in person. And he's just such a phenomenal guy. And I've really enjoyed watching Over the Top Adam Ray, stand-up comedian, who is the opposite, the complete antithesis of Chuck Liddell. It's really funny watching the
You
two
know,
of
I got to
those
be
guys
honest. I
work
didn't.
together.
I feel like I probably did and do know Adam Ray more than I realized, because then I went back and kind of looked him up, and I was like, oh shit, he's like in a bunch of stuff that I've seen that I used to watch, and I'm like, I didn't realize.
His
like,
stand-up's fun, man. I do enjoy his stand-up. He does a great
Yeah,
job.
he's
at
been
it.
around. He's pretty successful in his field.
Yeah.
But do you know Johnny Ray?
Is he a hockey
Sounds
player?
like a porn star. He's
Is
definitely
he
a porn star.
You don't remember that song, Johnny Ray?
No.
I am old.
Yeah, you are.
I'll be 40 tomorrow, so.
Oh shit!
don't look it, though.
Oh, can we sing "Happy Birthday" on the show? Is that
No, because
You look like Hockey Fabio.
before we close out the
not
show?
the first time.
Before we, which
We'll
speaking
close
of
it out
Hockey
with-
Fabio,
with the
you're
song.
coming up with another alter ego for the hockey games. What is
Yes.
this new alter ego that you were telling me about?
So I have a certain kind of esque to me when I drop
You
my
definitely
hair.
have a musk. I don't know about
Oh,
that.
that's from my job, lifting
Okay.
garbage bags
Sure,
today.
sure.
So when I take my ponytail out,
Okay, take it out. If you're not following us on YouTube, now's the time.
So-
We don't make money off of YouTube. However, it's fun to watch us on YouTube because you can see what we're talking about, what we're doing. But if you do take the time to switch over from podcast to YouTube, we would ask that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe,
Hammer the like
hammer the like
button.
button, and then also drop a comment. And every Friday, and I hope you do that this Friday as well, but on Friday at 8 p.m., we go back and we get on the premiere of our show on YouTube, and we get in the live chat and we chat with people. We usually have about 40 people in the chats, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. And so they can ask questions, they can make fun of you, they can make fun of us.
The Nooners
So
came
if
out to
you're
play last
listening-
time.
If the Nooners did come out, they came
Appreciate
out
that.
strong. And we hope the Nooners come back this Friday. So get ready on Friday to answer some of these questions about you being
definitely.
Fabio-licious. But yes, your hair is down. For those who aren't watching, his hair is down.
And luscious.
And he looks like Jesus.
Are you
a
a Johnny
white,
Fruitis guy?
a white Jesus.
but I've also been told I look like the Jesus off of Family Guy.
You look like the Jesus that I want to and picture Jesus looking like.
So I'm going to create a new alter ego called the Dancing Jesus.
Oh, did
And-
Jesus dance?
Well, I'm going to find out soon.
No, because he had holes in his feet.
Wow.
Yeah, but he still turned water into wine.
Man, that was classy.
Did he drink it after?
That wasn't too hurtful.
He got holes in his. I mean, we talked about Jesus last show. We asked if he pooped. We asked.
I don't want to go
fucked.
back into the hurtful things that we said about Jesus because I
I
like
don't
to
think
see
that's
my
hurtful.
Jesus as.
Jesus already forgave me.
I don't want to talk about Jesus pooping. It's like talking about my mother pooping. She doesn't poop. End of story.
You compared your mom
you're
to
going with
Jesus.
the. Well, she kind of is. She's a saint. Unlike your whore mother. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh man, I know your mother now.
Mom, I'm going to. Mom, I'm going to kill him after this show. This will be the last episode of Tailgate Legends.
But don't worry, I'll forgive him for his sins.
Yes, and Jesus already forgave me for murdering Eric Tansey
No, you
for
gotta have
calling
thick
my
skin.
mom
You have to have
a
thick
fucking
skin to hang
hooah.
out.
You're a fucking hooah.
So you've got this new alter ego
Hey.
coming out.
You're both fucking hoo-has. Now it's my time to
Yes,
shine.
yes.
So,
Come on.
so
Come on,
anyway,
Jesus, bring us home.
Trip
Take
Tracy,
the wheel.
Trip Tracy always says a famous name or an actor or something like that, even people in history, and he's like, so-and-so, well, they're a huge Caniac. So I want to create a sign or get one made that says, Dancing Jesus is a huge Caniac.
Are you going to wear sandals? Are you going to wear Jesus sandals? I feel like you have to.
I'm going to have to look for them online, and my favorite place to go sometimes is www.blank.com. It's not really a website, but, you know.
Okay. Ativas is what I think Jesus would have wore when it comes to sandals.
Probably something that would walk on water, you know.
Ooh.
You know, I got to be
Yes.
honest with you. I see this thing right here, which for our YouTubers, as you see, is a
It's a hair tie.
hair tie.
Yeah.
Hair tie, not
And
a
usually I get a little excited when I see the hair tie coming out.
I like it when it goes on because that means you're getting the beach.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And like I got a little bit of
Every good-
movement in my trousers, but then I realized it's not that type of show. So it's not gonna happen like
it's
that.
not
When a
that
girl
kind of
puts her
rain.
hair in a ponytail,
That's when you know it's about to
you
go
know
down.
it's game
I
on.
want to get a little sport out with you in the hockey universe real quick, though, because you're the hockey expert here. I dabble.
Playoffs.
We're talking playoffs. Well, there's different rules for the playoffs in the regular season. When in terms of overtime and shootouts.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on overtime versus shootouts? Do you like shootouts? Do you think that takes away from the purity of the game?
Shootouts are overplayed.
Okay.
I think so I know they've been looking at it over the last few years. Instead of going shootouts, just continue 3-on-3.
They're fun, though.
Yeah.
Shootouts are fun. And to be fair, I'm not knocking hockey, but it needs help, right? I mean, the ratings
It ruined
show.
Banks. It ruined Banks' life. One shootout.
Banksy. But, like, I think they're fun to watch. It's almost similar to, like, with baseball. Baseball needs help. I love baseball, but it needs help, right?
Yeah.
The ratings aren't there, where they're doing all these different things to extra innings, and people have even flirted with the idea of, why don't you just do a home run derby at the end, which is, I guess, comparable to a shootout, right?
So instead of just a shootout, why not trick shots?
I sense sarcasm in your voice.
Well, I mean,
You can do trick shots during the shootout, no?
yeah, you can, but I mean,
So you're a purist, and I'm not knocking you for it. That's fine. Because with baseball, I feel the same way, where it's like, nah, just keep going.
hey, Joe,
don't
Joe, are you knocking on heaven's door?
Like Bob Dylan?
Well-
Not Guns N' Roses. That's a terrible cover. And I hope Noel agrees with me that Guns N' Roses never should have covered that song. It's a terrible cover. Hey.
I don't know if you and Noel ever agree on anything.
Music. We agree that Jimmy Page is super cool. Yeah, he likes that. He's like, shut the fuck up and do your podcast, you motherfuckers. Anyway,
I'm
shootouts
a
versus
purist.
overtime. So you'd rather
Remember
them...
Jesse said last week, no inside jokes between you and your producer.
Jay, fire.
I just think that the 3-on-3 overtime is a little more exciting because what they do is they do switch ends for overtime. So it's long change.
Yeah, it's a lot more room on the ice
yeah.
with three guys.
I say keep it that way. Keep the 3-on-3, but don't switch ends after the overtime ends.
Okay.
But instead of 5 minutes, go to 3 minutes, because that way right there, the overtime is a little bit quicker and it's a little more exciting. The shootout, just like, I know I'm probably going to get blasted on this one, but it's like the Winter Classic. The Winter Classic, I think, has played itself out.
Yeah. It was cool
that's
at
what-
first.
yeah.
Now it's like, all right.
And that's why they brought in the Stadium Series, because they did have that buildup of the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
Tahoe was excellent, but the thing that went wrong with Tahoe is they did it in such a short time, and they didn't make special jerseys for it. They didn't do all that much. What do you call it? Commercialing for it.
like theatrics to it. Well,
Yeah.
that leads to my next question. So, what is, in your opinion, the best, hockey town in America? And if you could do the Winter Classic anywhere that hasn't been done yet, where would you do it?
Best hockey town
In America.
in America.
Pittsburgh.
Oh God, no.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Don't say Raleigh. Just don't.
All right, so I know I'm going to get
Raleigh's
shot.
magical.
This one's going to shoot me in the foot. It's not Detroit. It's one of the original sixes, and I'd have to say Massachusetts.
Let's go, baby. Boston.
I hate the Bruins,
but say it.
but I mean,
We love our
there's-
hockey there. We do.
Yeah, there's just something about Boston that just. When I was younger as a teenager, I went there a couple times, and I mean, it's just something. There's something about Boston.
There sure is. There's something
and-
about the people from there, too. They're special.
Yeah, it's.
Whores.
I'm going to fucking kill you. But there is. I mean, Boston is a hockey town. I actually grew up in a town called Saugus. Shout out to all my Saugus friends out there. That had a rink, and it was called Hockey Town. It's actually a piece of shit on Route 1.
Yeah.
But hey, it's Hockey Town, USA. And there is, we could play, it's cold enough most of the time, you can play pond hockey.
Yep.
And we care about our professional sports there. We care about the Bruins there. And they got the bean pot. And college hockey is huge in Boston.
Yeah.
That's the biggest college sport in Boston. It's not football or even basketball. It's hockey.
Yeah.
With BU, BC, even Harvard, all those teams up there compete. And that bean pot's big.
And if I was to bring a outdoor classic anywhere outside of an NHL city, I'd probably do somewhere in the Northeast.
Yeah. They've done Fenway and they've done Gillette Stadium. Fenway's probably a little cooler.
When are they going to do that series in Tampa?
The outdoor series.
When it snows in Tampa.
Actually, they did do Anaheim versus who was it? LA. Back in.
Yeah, it was a condensation problem, though, wasn't there?
There was a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it everywhere. You can't do it in the Grand
Are
Canyon.
the Florida Panthers still a thing?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
playing the Tampa Bay Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Does anybody go to those games? Because I grew up in Florida.
No, nobody does.
All you saw was Lightning shirt, but nobody wore Panthers.
Nobody cares.
How have they been around for so long?
Because you got all the bunch of retirees from the north that are down in
And they're going to the game. You
isn't
don't
it
ever
in
see any
Kissimmee?
swag.
Yeah.
You don't see any Panthers swag anywhere. You see Lightning swag everywhere.
Well,
But no Panthers
historically, the Lightning have been pretty decent. Back in the day with like Vincent LeCavalier, they got Stamkos now.
Sure, they won the
just
Stanley
won the Cup. I mean,
Now, here's a little bit of history for those that are listening or watching even, this is the first time since the existence in 1992 and 1993 of both when the Tampa Bay came in, and then a year later when Florida came in, this is the first time it's ever been a Battle of Florida.
when they matched up in the playoffs, huh?
I mean, it's almost been, 10, 20, almost, 30 years?
And historically, Tampa Bay has been much better than Florida. I can't recall a single time where Florida has been, the Panthers have been,
Florida actually made it to the Stanley Cup Finals before Tampa did. It was Florida versus Colorado Avalanche.
That was when the Avalanche were probably stacked, right?
Yeah,
Sakic,
they had
Forsberg, Patrick Waugh.
Yep,
Those
and,
teams were like wagons.
One of the longest overtime playoff games was between Van Beesbrook, that's a name to throw back to, and also Patrick Waugh. I believe they went, and it was a shutout too, like an absolute shutout through like 5 or 6 overtime periods. I mean, it was only a 1-goal win in overtime.
A game that only hockey purists could enjoy. It's like, football purists who love like Big Ten football. They want a 6-0 or an SEC game, 6-0, where it's like you, as a goalie, I'm sure you love those like 1-0 games. You just see guys standing on their heads. Which, speaking of standing on their heads, my favorite little run, obviously, in my opinion, is biased, was when Tim Thomas, though, completely out of nowhere, just stood on his head and he outdueled Roberto Luongo.
Vancouver.
Of the Canucks. That was a great series too, and that was really what sort of started it for me when it came to the Bruins. Like I watched like Joe Thornton and Sergei Samsonov and those guys like that, but they would always lose. They'd always make it the second round and lose the Canadians. That was the first real run that they actually won in my lifetime that I remember, at least.
And do you know that series actually produced one of the greatest epic photos, and it had nothing to do with hockey? Well, it kind of did, but it didn't.
Was it Nathan Horton with scooping the ice up?
Nope. It was in Vancouver when Vancouver lost that final game, and they basically turned that city upside down, and there was a silhouette of a man and a woman making out with fire in the background.
Oh, that's badass. That's badass.
It's almost like that picture of us from Dallas at the Canelo fight.
Yes.
That went up on Iconoblast.
Which we'll send to Noel so he can put it up on the YouTube.
The guy Joel who took the picture, it's up on his Instagram from Iconoblast, which is another fun show on Tetherball Academy.
Yep, and I plan on being on that show sometime in July. I've been talking to those guys. We're going to do a Led Zeppelin episode. So Jimmy Page, again, getting referenced on this show. But when you're talking about, the Canucks, right? I'm sure they care about their hockey in Vancouver.
Oh, they do.
And I'm sure it must have eaten them up to have some fucking Bruins team take away their closest shot in a long time, because they haven't been back since.
The last time they were there before that year was against my childhood team, the New York Rangers, and oh my God, I mean, you had, that team was
Mark
stacked
Messier's
too.
team?
Mark Messier, Mike Richter, Brian Leach.
Oh, Brian Leach. Brian Leach, I think, played for the Bruins.
Matteau. Just that whole entire team was just epic. And a long time, or their coach that no one really likes to talk about anymore, Mike Keenan. I think Kirk McLean was goalie for Vancouver at that time. You had Pavel Bure. Who else? I want to say Trevor Linden.
So you weren't a big John Tortorella guy when he was with the Rangers? You weren't a big fan of him?
I'm not a big Torts fan. I mean,
he was something else. He was a personality.
Who's your guy now? You're a Caniac now. You're a Canes fan, diehard Canes fan. Who's your favorite guy now?
As a Caniac, I like the underdogs. I like Reimer in net. Nedeljkovic has really stepped up. He's in line for a Rookie of the Year award. I have a friend that lives over in Czechoslovakia that I recently, or a few months ago, did a podcast with. He actually helped out Marty Necas become the stud that he is when it comes to shooting. Marty Natchez, when he was younger, was just a passer, and my buddy helped him with a shot. The first night that he scored a goal, he actually called up my buddy and told him, "Hey, I just scored a goal," this and that. And, like, they stay in contact every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool that I kind of have that, like, in between, but because Marty Natchez is where he is and where I am on the totem pole of life, it's kind of a shot in the dark. But
who is your, we got a lot of junkies that are on Drinking Bro Sports, a lot of bettors. MyBookie.com sponsors a lot of the shows on Tetherball, and so lots of people come to Drinking Bro Sports for betting. Not that you're giving professional betting advice right now, but what's your no bullshit? What is your no bullshit assessment? A cold call, if you will, on the playoffs going forward. Who do you got? Who do you want to win?
So if we're going to break it down division by division,
let's not break it down by who your favorites are. Who do you really
bet with
think
your head, not your heart.
Okay.
Yeah, bet with your head, not your heart, and then we're going to go with your heart.
Well, we know.
So
where
to
his
come
heart
out of the
is.
North, I see the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs have torn up the North Division. Out of the Eastern Division, no, I'm not saying the Bruins. I'm either seeing the Capitals or
we'll see in this series. I mean,
as much
1-1.
as
he's
much
betting
as,
with his head, and he's saying the Capitals.
As much as I hate saying it, I could also see the Penguins doing it too. But that all depends on how Jari plays in net.
That's right. I'm putting my.
Well,
bets
you mentioned how
the Penguins.
goaltender plays, and you mentioned underdogs. With hockey, that's one of those sports that you can find the right guy at the right time. Like when I mentioned Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas isn't a Hall of Famer, but he played like a Hall of Famer during that stretch. Bennington with the Blues when they beat the Bruins in the Cup a couple of years ago played on his head. Right?
Well, the funny part about that is at the first of the year, the St. Louis Blues were in last place. And they worked their way all the way up. They were like the biggest underdog and one of their biggest supporters. And I think one of the things that really helped them was I forgot what her name was, but it was the one that had.
It wasn't John
cancer.
Hamm? John Hamm was in the stands and he's a big Blues fan. I heard he's got a big dick, too.
He's got a hog on him. He's got
I heard
nice
John Hamm is. It's like a thing in
hog.
Hollywood that they always talk about how big John Hamm's dick is. You can see it all the time in Mad Men, apparently.
Is that something we can Google?
Go ahead and Google John Hamm's dick. I dare you.
Okay.
So,
I've
met Ron Jeremy in an airport in Alaska. I mean, does
Could you
that
see
count?
like the outline in his pants? I mean,
No, I wasn't looking that
but
hard.
I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos of.
I've seen
Oh,
Orgasmo.
shit. So when you type in John Hamm's dick on the Google webs, it's a series of pictures of him walking with this hog just protruding from his khakis. There, holy
Good
shit!
for him.
This one he's wearing some green pants. And let me tell you, I got the full view. I mean, that's straight dick right there. It's about 4 inches from the kneecap.
I got a roller quarters that long.
It's fat. It hangs lower than his balls, which is what I'm always looking at in a good dick. Anytime the dick hangs lower than the balls, you're off to a good start.
Well, what's that statue of
Oh, here
David?
he is wearing
right?
chubbies. Chubs.
They did him dirty. He's got a
Oh,
little
there he
teeny
is in the
peck
Under Armour shorts.
Speaking of penises, it looks like we have food
Fuck.
coming our way.
This
How's that
wouldn't
for a
be
transition?
a
Hi, Ashley.
tailgate if we didn't have tailgating food. My lovely wife, who is a very fine French cook, she has made a Canadian dish called poutine.
Poutine,
which is. It came from a dairy farming town in Quebec, Canada. And
Screw Quebec.
It's basically French fries with some gravy, some cheese curds. Ashley Hope, why don't you come in here real fast, get on this microphone, tell us how, I want you to get on this microphone.
Ashley.
Tell us how you made these what makes these tailgate poutine fries. Tell us all about this.
I did it entirely on the grill. I made little foil boats and put frozen French fries in there with a little bit of oil and salt and crisped them up. And then I did cheese curds and mozzarella, and then a homemade gravy, which you could just use a little brown packet and mix it with water. But I started with bacon and used butter and flour because it is a Quebecois recipe.
Oh, wait. Say that again. What was that word?
Quebecois.
That sounds French.
It is. Well, it's French Canadian.
Okay. All right.
Am I good?
So you fired up the grill, and I watched her do this beforehand. We talked about it. She's shy. She doesn't like the microphone, so she is.
This isn't her
quick
first time on
to-
Drinking Bros.
It's
though.
not.
She's a seasoned vet at this point.
By the way, if you're not watching YouTube, now's your time to tune in because my wife was just bent over this microphone. She doesn't normally wear a bra, so who knows what that view was like. But I was out there while she was on the grill. She made a boat, like she said, a tinfoil boat. She put frozen fries. She did the charcoal on the grill because when you're tailgating, French fries are fun, right? But we're not tailgating with a deep fryer.
Exactly.
So she bought the frozen French fries. She put them in the boat. She put the boat on the grill. She melted the cheese. She did the bacon on the same grill in a griddle. And now we have a hockey tailgate food that's simple.
Yep.
Our favorite friends from Conspiracy Cuisine, their quote is, just because it's simple, it doesn't have to suck. Let me taste this thing. What do you think?
Bomb.
You tailgate for
Bomb.com.
every hockey game, or lots of them.
Well, when I did go,
Oh, shit, that's good.
so I'm kind of a poutine snob.
Okay.
Growing up along the U.S.-Canadian border between Quebec and also Ontario, and I do like these. Eric's actually looking at a bunch of the pictures. I've gone over to Canada so many times I've lost count. Drank a lot of Labatt Blue.
You don't want to go to Canada now, though, I'll tell you that.
No, you don't go anywhere. And I'd have to say, these are bringing me back to home. And since this so-called Bruins fan mentioned his hometown, I just want to give a loud shout out to my friends, family, and who's ever watching back in Messina, New York. It's one of those places where you think you're in Canada, but you're not exactly, but you're feeling like you're in Canada because we're that close. You can toss a rock across the river and cause international relations depending on who you hit. It's how I flirt with girls, too, when I was growing up. I'd toss the bottle over, and they would toss it back, so.
Oh, they put messages in the bottle?
No, condoms. With their number on it.
What's a condom?
Yeah, right?
It's that thing that floats.
3 kids later. Man, I love these. And it's such a simple tailgate trick. Really all you need is French fries, bacon, butter, oil, and tinfoil. So we're not talking about having to pack the cooler down with a whole bunch of ingredients. You serve it with a plastic fork because it is a little bit messy, but really eating this puts me, I was stationed with the Canadians when I was in the military for a little while, and we played, we didn't play hockey. I'm not a hockey player. I don't know shit about it, but they played hockey with your shoes on. They had like a little...
Oh, you mean the little plastic sticks in the hallway and just kind of... Oh,
no,
yeah.
No. They had actually built
On ice?
No. No, it's a concrete slab that they built. And
I believe that's called lacrosse.
Ball hockey.
No, and it was a ball. Yep.
Oh,
And
field
you had the
hockey,
sticks.
okay.
Yep, and you had the ball, and they loved it. And they went and had poutine every time, and they had a little tournament style set up. And I didn't play; I just watched. I mean, I played a little bit just to try to
You were a
show my hand
cheerleader?
at it.
A puck
Essentially. And they played.
not pretty enough.
They played the Czechs.
I would, actually.
The Czechoslovakians minus the Slovaks, so the Czechs. They played the Czechs. They had poutine, and for that game, there was like little poutine trays just like this going around for everybody who was watching it. And it was really funny because the Czechs, you couldn't understand what they were saying, but they obviously took that field hockey very seriously.
It was men's field hockey, basically, is what you're saying.
Now, if you want to really kick it up a little bit with your poutine...
Hard to find ice in Afghanistan. Bosh and Joe, you uncultured fuck.
Yeah, it's called dry ice.
Very dry. Very dry.
Yeah.
But if you want to kick it up a little notch, throw some vinegar on your fries for poutine, too. It's more of a Canadian thing, as well as what
They
I
don't
learned.
get mad because that's a little British, adding a little British to their Canadian fries.
Well,
Is there no bad blood there?
Well, isn't Canada kind of like the stepchild of the UK?
Yeah,
Just-
well, France.
No, that's Quebec because
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Quebec is all French. The rest of Canada doesn't even like Quebec.
And that is true because I remember being stationed when we were with the Canadians. They used to talk so much shit. And it's funny because Canadian troops hate Canada. Like every single one of them were just like so embarrassed that they're Canadian.
I would be too if I was from Canada, especially right now. But let's go back to the Sportos, right, real quick. Last time I checked.
Why isn't there any Canadian football? Like if we have,
There is Canadian football. Doug
no,
Flutie
I
and
get
Warren
that.
Moon
No,
with the Goats.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is we have Canadians play in the NHL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they play in the Stanley Cup and everything else. Why don't we have Canadian teams that play in the NFL?
I don't know, but The Rock played in Calgary for the Calgary Stampede.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
He played at the U in Miami. I know that in college.
He's got a really great inspirational video out there called I forgot what it was, but every now and then when I go to the gym to work out, because Joe told me to flex. And
You are beefy as fuck, dude. Like, you got some cannons.
Especially when you said you're 40. I was like, yeah, 40?
Yeah. Dude, you're like a fucking ripped Jesus. You're like the Jesus that's like hanging on the walls where it's like he's got jacked abs and everything.
If Jesus was from America.
Well, the only thing I got jacked down there is my little what I call my apple pie tin. So,
is that like some form of a dad bod or?
There's no dad bod here.
I'm an
Look
uncle
at this
bod.
guy.
We got dad bods.
I've got a dad bod. This guy's got a fucking.
No. I have a dad bod. You have a bowling ball.
You have dogs.
No.
A dog.
So since we're talking about hockey, we're gonna go with a Phil Kessel.
Definitely not
Eric
Phil
definitely has a
Esposito.
Phil Kessel.
He must look good.
He's like Bobby Orr now. Is Bobby Orr the greatest player of all time?
Wayne Gretzky.
No. If you're from Boston, there's only one answer, and that's yes.
I thought that was Tom Brady.
I mean, if Tom Brady wanted to play hockey, I'm sure he could.
I mean, Zdeno Chara's not too far behind him, even
Well,
though.
speaking of Chara.
No, I really don't. Going back to that, I don't think Tom Brady could play hockey.
No, he couldn't. He would suck.
Not in a
Absolutely
fucking-
suck.
not
But
in a million years.
Speaking of Chara, I was reminded again last night. I was like, oh, shit. That's right. Chara's on the fucking Capitals. And he looks old. He looks slow. I mean, he's big. And he can, block some shots and get in the way and apply some hits. But, man, his past 2 years with the Bruins, I was like, man, it's time.
Did you also notice that he was wearing an A on his jersey?
Yeah, how does that happen so quickly? You get traded with a C and you get an A instantly?
I think it was due to an injury.
Really?
And the next person in line best suited for that, especially with the playoffs coming up, I do think Chara was that one. I'm not sure if you're aware of the story or what's being said why Chara went to Washington is because Boston was trying to build that younger crowd, that younger generation, and Chara just didn't. And Chara's contract was up and down, and finally Chara was just like, you know what, I'll take the hits. I know his family's still in in the Boston area. They have a really big following there just because of all the stuff that he did off the ice.
Absolutely.
A lot of organizations, and he's really good.
Yep.
So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he was a staple. The Bruins, they went to 3 cups. They won 1. They definitely should have beat the Blues that year. The Blackhawks, when they ran into them, I mean, that was a wagon, that Blackhawks team. But, obviously, like we were talking about before, in 2011, the year I graduated high school to make Tansy feel old.
Wow. Wait.
Yes, I graduated high school in 2011.
Oh, my God.
2011, I was still in Okinawa, Japan. And
They have hockey in Japan?
Yes, they do.
How's that? Lots of little guys, right?
I'm not sure. One of my buddies that I made when I was stationed over in England, Goalie, he's a Latvian dude. Funnier than hell, crazier than hell on the ice. You would be more afraid of him watching him play, but he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He played over in Japan. I forgot the name of the town, but they had just won the championship over there, but they play like teams within Japan as well as a few teams over in Russia and Korea. And, they got professional hockey over there.
So other than the NHL, is the KHL the best, level of play compared to the NHL?
I'd have to say it's one of the next levels there because that's where you see a lot of players coming from. But then you also have to look at...
Is Jágr still playing there?
Yeah, no, he plays in a Czech league.
Does he? He's still
playing.
Man. Guy's like 80.
And his team just won the championship in the Czech league.
And he fucks. Confirmed. Jaromír Jágr fucks.
I mean, look at the hair.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
You know a little bit about that, don't you?
A little bit of less on the top of the head,
I got lots of less on the top of my head.
Speaking of hair, I'll go ahead and go with this. But speaking of hair, killcliff.com.
You know who doesn't have hair, though, is Joe Rogan. But Joe Rogan does have his own Kill Cliff.
But you know who does have hair? Navy SEALs. And a Navy SEAL is the one who founded Kill Cliff. And they have beautiful hair.
Do they all have beautiful hair?
Yeah, that's what they're known for.
Well, if they did, I'm sure they'll tell you about it, right?
They
See, that's
would.
the thing. I know these military jokes, but as a civilian, I feel like I'm not supposed to make them. Do you guys poo-poo me as a civilian making Navy SEAL?
I feel if somebody...
Every Navy SEAL would kick my ass.
Sure.
So I think Eric would agree with this one. So say if me and Eric were out at a bar and we're making fun of each other's branches and this and that.
Yeah. And then you came and
I
shit on
chime
the
in.
branch.
Yeah, the Army sucks,
Yeah,
right?
then
Am I
we
right?
would have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you were like...
I would never say that, though.
No, you wouldn't. But if you wanted to say Navy SEALs have ridiculous hair. We would all laugh at that joke. That's a good joke.
I mean, maybe if I drink some Ignite by Kill Cliff, maybe I'll be able to take all those Navy SEALs on. But killcliff.com, live your life full of flavor. And like Tansy said, it was developed by a Navy SEAL, and it gives you the benefits that you need without sacrificing flavor, because like we both have the little Sava flavor, or the flavor saver, I should say.
I wish I could grow a beard.
Yeah, you can't, just like Ross. You can overcome any obstacle with Kill Cliff CBD recovery drinks. Their products help you operate at your best, because you know in life there are no days off, and quitting is never an option. This is the new Flaming Joe, like I referenced. Joe Rogan, who doesn't have hair, but he's got lots of tattoos, and he's got a lot of cool things to say. A big fan of Joe Rogan. That's their most popular flavor. Last time I checked, they were out because it was so popular, but I'm sure at this point, by the time I'm saying it and the people are listening, they're back on it, because Kill Cliff is always on their shit. They have their CBD products as well as their Ignite products. And some of the cool flavors of the Mango Tango. You got the Orange Crush, and like I said last time, Tom Brady's favorite, the GOAT. Which might be Wayne Gretzky's favorite or Bobby Orr's, depending on where you're from geographically. But for a limited time only, use promo code DrinkingBros.
We're not like Mario Lemieux. He doesn't like go into that category.
Yeah, he can be considered, right? Injuries kind of plagued his career a little bit. But use promo code DrinkingBros and you get 30% off. Yes, 30% off killcliff.com. Promo code DrinkingBros. DRINKINBROS. Up to 30% off. Not only the drinks are the great, the Ignite and the CBD products, but they have some cool shirts.
Apparel. Got some coming in the mail, baby.
Oh, yeah, I can't
You'll
wait
see me wearing it on the next show.
We'll be rocking it. Although, are you sure you only wearing still?
Well, I'm kind of biased when it comes in still, because
I guess so.
Fucking
well,
own the company.
I'm biased to Kill Cliff, because they're my shit. No sugar, 20 calories per can, B vitamins and electrolytes, which is good if you're a little hungover, am I right? And the B vitamins gets you a little pick me up too, in case you need that, and it's all naturally flavored. So go to killcliff.com and make sure you use Drinking Bros promo code. Okay, it's offering an exclusive, like I said, 30% offer. The CBD drinks currently in stock and the apparel. So killcliff.com, use promo code Drinking Bros. It's KILLCLIFF.com. Use promo code Drinking Bros and take advantage of that 30% off.
You need to try some Kill Cliff, homie, especially now that you are in the business of lifting heavy shit all the time, which, like, obviously that's why you're in that profession, because you're big as fuck. But you should get on board on that Kill Cliff, dude. The CBD, the recovery. If you're fucking sore from lifting all day and you're going into
versatile.
the next,
you get the Ignite, you get pumped,
very versatile, and the recovery.
Exactly, and then after, when you're all done, you want to kind of chill out a little bit. Use the CBD stuff. I mean,
as an older guy who's still playing rugby, you're still playing a little bit of hockey. Yeah. In some of these men's leagues, and I would say rugby's probably not too far off from that. Yeah. That recovery, dude, is clutch.
Yes.
Clutch.
And just a couple minutes.
Should be kill clutch.
And just a couple minutes ago, you guys are talking about goats, and I'm going to throw it back to hockey.
Yeah, let's go.
Just right before the end of the season reached a milestone across the border, and that was Connor McJesus McDavid.
Oh my God, that's a lot of mix in one.
I know. I mean, one of his nicknames is McJesus. I mean, he can do everything. And he joined the 100 points club in 53 games.
Oh shit!
There's only been 3 other players that have done that in such a short amount of time, and especially this season when there's only 56 games being played.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He joined the likes of Yager, Gretzky, and Lemieux. Lemieux did it twice, I believe, in, don't quote me on this, 90.
Fact check him.
He did it twice. I know he did it twice. I don't know the dates on that.
I mean, that's good company to be in.
Yeah.
And when it comes to all those guys, and Connor McDavid's a great young player, but another great young player is Taylor Hall.
Well, let's not talk about him, because I feel
that was a big trade, though. That's a big pickup, especially when you have the Bruins who got Tyler Seguin. They drafted Tyler Seguin, and he was a stud in Boston. All the ladies loved him.
And then he went to Dallas.
Well, do you know the reason why they traded him? They always say, "Oh, well, he was out partying and
He was
doing
fucking
this."
his masseuse.
He was fucking. No, that's not Ohio State. He was fucking Nathan Horton's wife.
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember
so
that.
that caused some friction within the team.
That's a major flex there.
Yeah, that's like very military-esque of him, right?
Yes. We were talking about that earlier, that military wives.
So if we're talking about that,
Military
we might as
dudes
well
love
bring
to fuck
Sean
around.
Avery into the conversation.
Bad dude.
For those that would follow hockey back in the early 2000s, Sean Avery was a goon, and he got traded to, what was it, Vancouver, if I'm correct?
I remember him with the Rangers, though.
Rangers, and I forgot the Canadian team that he played with. It was either Vancouver or Calgary, but he got into it, and he goes, yeah, you're just jealous because I'm getting your sloppy seconds or something like that, and it just erupted in the hallway.
Dude, you know what?
between
Those
the two
hockey
teams.
players, though, obviously you have to have fucking a hog to play hockey. You got to have at least big balls. But my wife and I had a good friend come up from Florida, and she was just out of a long relationship. And I was friends with this guy that she was in a relationship with. Made it weird. But she came out. We went out one night. There happened to be a hockey player. And it was funny because I didn't know he was a hockey player, but we all went to a gas station after we went out, and this dude was hanging out with us. He obviously had money because he was buying all of our shit.
Do you know how we know
We go into
a hockey player, though, real quick?
No, listen, this guy
He
didn't
can't play
say-
any other sport except for hockey.
It doesn't matter. This guy was
Sorry.
dope as shit. He wasn't that tall. We walk into a, I think it was a Hess gas station back then. I can't remember. But his cutout, cardboard cutout, was in there. And I was like, holy shit. That dude looks like you. And he's like, that is me. And I was like, shut the holy fuck, that is you.
What's
and he
his
was
name?
Like that. I'm not going to say his name just because I don't even know if he was married. I know that she's married now, so I don't want to fucking out that. But she went home with him. She went home with him, and she was supposed to stay with us for 2 nights. She ends up staying with him for 5 days, and she's like, "Guys, come over." We're like, she's on like first name basis with him, Chad, and she's like,
You just said it.
Sorry. She's like, she's like, oh, I'm going to Chad's house. Or she's like, y'all come over to Chad's house and hang out. We end up going over there and they're popping bottles of Dom. We literally got fucking shit-faced on Dom Perignon. So,
That was Dawn. It's Dom Perignon?
yeah.
It's on an N?
No. It's with an M.
Can we fact check that?
He's right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't tell me. I don't like to hear those words that James is right.
Yep, Dom Perignon.
So confirmed, hockey players fuck.
Yeah, it's about $184, $200 a bottle, depending on where you grab it.
It's not
but don't ever fucking question
the Louis-
a sommelier ever on a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I should have known better.
Anyway, lots of drunkenness, and they fucked for 5 days straight. And she said, when I asked her at the end, because we finally had to come get her, she didn't even have a car, take her to the airport, and my wife was like, "We're taking you to the airport, not this hockey player." She was like, "Oh yeah, but we're at the mall right now." I mean, she just went total full fucking
Puck slut.
Puck slut.
puck slut. She went full puck slut. And so we're driving her back, and I was like, well, listen, I'm sure you've had a great time. We're all not jealous. / we are. Can he fuck? Does he lay pipe? And she was like, oh my God, like 5 times a day.
So remember,
He was in her penalty box.
Yeah.
Well, remember earlier when you
2
guys
minute
asked
warning.
me about why I play goalie?
Do goalies fucking slay poon?
I tell you what, we got the biggest stick on the ice.
Okay. All right.
Biggest balls,
and
for sure.
We
Dick,
come
maybe.
out with the biggest stuffs.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it now. I get
And
it.
we don't sit in the penalty box. We play the whole 60 minutes.
Have you ever
Yes,
fought
yes.
as a goalie? Nothing beats a turtle fight.
I've wanted to. The closest
Doesn't happen often.
No, I'm a shit talker.
You gotta be.
No,
You
come
gotta
on.
be. Come on.
Living.
Jesus doesn't shit talk.
No, he's just too holy. Oh, didn't.
That's why Jesus couldn't play goalie.
Exactly.
He had holes in his hands.
But one of the closest times is over in when I was playing in the UK. I used to shit talk against this one team. I mean, I had it in for this one guy. We played in their home rink, and I pulled out glove saves left and right. I'm like, oh man, I'm pulling more tricks than his mom's pulling, or I'm making glove saves that just like his mom's pulling tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
And-
to, if you glove save someone, you have to be like, did you forget something?
Oh
Toss
no
it
no
back
no
to
no!
him.
My famous move after
was
I
it?
finally thought of it was I'd make a fucking amazing glove save.
Yeah.
And I'd take it out of the glove, I'd act like I'm autographing it and hand it to the guy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like getting an interception in football and running it back to the quarterback and being like, hey, you left this here.
Exactly.
You mentioned Sean Avery, though.
Yeah.
He's a dirty player.
Oh, he's a great player.
And one of the dirtiest plays in all of hockey history is the Todd Bertuzzi thing. Was it Michael Moore? Matt Moore. something more was the guy. Macklemore. That's it. You're right. You're on it. Which, by the way, Seattle is where Macklemore's from. Seattle's getting a team.
Yes.
The Seattle Kraken.
They're
Has
coming
to
out
be
next season.
Top 3 best names in all of sports. The Seattle Kraken. That's pretty fucking cool.
fucking
if you
rad.
ask me.
It's
They
fucking
might
rad.
suck. Who knows? But that Todd Bertuzzi play, is that not one of within the top 3 dirtiest plays in all of sports history? For those of you who don't know, go look it up. Todd Bertuzzi, cheap hit. He came from behind a guy, and a young dude, too.
Yeah.
He was a young, up-and-coming guy, and just blindside socks him in the side of the head. And I don't know if he got paralyzed partially for a while.
That
or-
was almost like, who was it? Donald Brashear when he came across and took his stick and used it as a tomahawk.
Yeah, he was fucking
I
wild
mean,
on.
there's been a lot of dirty plays.
Do you think hockey is, we could all argue that football is becoming more of a pussy's sport. Is that happening to hockey at all?
No, they keep it real, man.
I
Fighting's still, as long as the fighting's still there.
I think right now, so when I was growing up, since I'm older than both of you, I grew up in the goon stage. I love the goon stage.
Great movie too with
Dougie Glatt.
Yep.
That's actually based off a true story.
Yeah.
Those,
Well, I didn't
both
know
of
that,
those,
but-
yeah.
Now you do.
And in the second part where they're doing the fight league, that actually was a real thing. A lot of those fighters were actual NHL fighters. There's a few of them in there, and you had the likes of Ty Domi, McSorley, Bobby Probert. Those are the names that are ringing off my head now. But I mean, you had so many of them, and it was so exciting because you knew or even Marty McSorley too. Gretzky would not leave Edmonton without McSorley going to L.A. with him. I mean, that had to be a package deal because he was his guardian.
It's kind of like if Boston Joe travels, I have to go with him because I'm his guardian.
I can see that. I mean, look how tiny he is.
Loving him from dusk till dawn.
Wait a second.
But-
This got sexual real quick. How did that happen?
But when you ask if the hockey is not becoming pussified, whereas it's becoming more finesse.
Okay.
You look at the skill level versus back then where you see all the greats. I mean, every great player had someone protecting them. So back then, if you hit, say, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Stevie Y, what's a couple of other good names? Even in the late 60s and 70s and the early days, you always had someone there to protect them. Nowadays, it's
An enforcer.
Yeah, an enforcer. Nowadays, it's basically you're looking at all these gifted and talented players that are just coming out of nowhere. I mean, Svechnikov. I mean, not this past season, but last season, 1920 season, he did the Michigan not only once but twice in the NHL, and it's never been done before he did it in the NHL. And now everybody's
the Michigan?
The Michigan. So basically, it's kind of like a lacrosse move. What you do is you take the puck, you kind of like flipping pancakes, but you kind of like put pressure on the puck, bring it up, and just kind of like wrap it around. The very first person to do it, the reason why they call it the Michigan is because I'm not sure the kid's name, but in a game, Michigan Wolverines versus, was it Notre Dame?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the other team, though. I know,
North Dakota,
yeah.
one of the two.
It's one of the iconic sports center used to
Yeah.
play it for years after that.
He was the first kid to do it during his time, and no one's ever seen it done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been accomplished over in the KHL and the European leagues, but to see it in the NHL, and I was actually at that game when he did it here in
shit.
Carolina. I mean, it was nuts too, absolutely nuts, because you're just like, holy hell, wait, what?
That's kind of the beauty of hockey, though, is like that play that you're talking about takes finesse and skill, but at the same time, it's in the same sentence that you're talking about brutes and forces,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's almost like art and poetry, the way they're skating around and playing on a different surface than most other sports play on, using skates instead of cleats or sneakers. But at the same time, you have playing the same sport dudes who don't even
it's
really know.
friendly and violent.
Yes.
Which is why I like it. I mean, that's why I like rugby. It's friendly and violent. Speaking of friendly and violent, our artist, because this will be one of the fewer shows now that we're picking up real corporate sponsors that we'll actually be able to plug in still so much. But our corporate not our corporate sponsor, but our artist for Instill Distilling Company that does all the beautiful ladies on our bottles. His name is Bruce Corona, Bruce Corona.
Like the
it's
band?
a terrible name for the times, but the dude is a genius with a pencil, with oil paints, with any kind of art. And if you follow him on Instagram, and we're going to plug this right now, and I'm going to show, as I'm speaking right now, we'll be flipping through some of his artwork from Instagram. But this guy is a selfless servant, served in Afghanistan and Iraq with the 82nd Airborne. And he is our artist, and he's just a fabulous guy. He's had a hard time through the coronavirus. Obviously, not a lot of people were buying art. But you know what? When I would talk to him on the phone and ask him how times are going, he would say, there's a lot more important things that people need to worry about right now, and art's just not one of them. And I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. And so he stopped advertising through Corona. I mean, him and his fiance, Marissa Brest, they're just two selfless servants who genuinely care about human beings. So if you get a chance and you want to see some really friendly and violent art, I mean, he's got some great skull pictures, some great military-esque art, and as well as just traditional art like you see up front here. But that is Bruce Corona. Sorry about that. Jeff, we appreciate you coming on this show. Again, you have What the Puck podcast. What else?
Correct.
Where can we follow you on the Instagrammies, the Facebook?
So on Instagram,
Twitters.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to say one last thing. For all of you that
We've got two things that we have to get to, so
Okay.
take your time.
So, if you know who Chris Chelios is, and all hockey fans know who this guy is, go out and look up what he told somebody what hockey is really like. I mean, you have to, I don't know it word for word, but it's along the lines of you have to have the skill of a doctor. You have to have so many different things at the same time, trying to avoid someone hitting you, putting the puck in the net.
Sounds like being a cop. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, definitely look up Chris Chelios' saying about hockey. I mean, it's actually really inspirational and explains it the best. But for social media, you can find What the Puck on Instagram at whatthepuck_podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at whatthepuckpod1, and I keep on forgetting what my Facebook is. I know I'm horrible. But you can find us on Facebook at WTP Game On Sports Podcast, or also looking up What the Puck by Game On, a sports podcast for everyone. So
Awesome. We're at the point of the show. This is Boston Joe's favorite part of the show, so I won't steal his thunder. Go ahead, Boston Joe.
We're at the point of the show where we get to the Drinking Bro of the Week. And the
Or
Drinking
Broette.
Bro, or Broette. But apparently Tansy's little rule is that they have to be alive. But it's basically someone who has inspired you, whether it
shouldn't
be to play
like a
hockey.
Tansy's little rule.
It is,
That should
because
be
Ross and
fucking-
Dan don't play that
well,
game.
that's so fucking stupid. They should. What's
well,
the
why don't
point
you
in
tell
having
them-
a
why don't you
drinking
tell
pro
them
that's
Evan
fucking
Dell
terrible?
is
I will.
tough
I'll
guy?
look him right in the fucking face.
Yeah, right.
and I'll
When you
say-
see Ross, you're like, oh my God.
But I don't think I've ever heard
Ross.
somebody say that somebody that's dead.
Patterson.
Nobody says like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." Is
No,
my
they don't do.
true
They don't
brother."
say
We
Jesus
get
Christ,
it.
but they
Like,
say
we
like, "Oh,
understand.
my dad
He
was
is
a
my
big
Lord and Savior
inspiration, and
too.
He's dead now."
Right? No, nobody says that. Nobody's ever said that.
Do you watch or listen to Drinking Bros? They do it all the
Every
fucking
day,
time.
Every day, and they always say somebody inspirational that's alive.
You
So-
can tune into Drinking Bros Sports after, where you get a live feed of me and Tansy fighting. He'll probably kick my ass,
Dude, I would love to
because of
see
experience.
I'd love to see a MyBookie bet on that.
Listen,
one.
what we are going to
The
do though, just
over-under.
let me preview it
You
real
would have
quick.
to have a boxer's. What is it? A boxer's miracle to take this beast down.
I tell you what, I saw Hansy high five him earlier, and Joe just fell to the floor because he was in so much pain.
Listen.
Melted.
Tansy,
Who is your
Tansy
ticket
would probably kick my ass, but let me just real quick preview that we will play a one-on-one basketball game, and I'm going to set that up. I'm going to start posting on the Drinking Bros Sports. I want all the Drinking Bros to bet on who they think is going to win. I'm going to be heavily favored because he's a stiff, and I'll run circles around him, and I want everyone to know that. And then we're going to hype this up, and I want all the Drinking Bros to start placing bets, whether it be with my bookie or not, and get a little traction going, and we're going to hype this up a little bit. And I'm calling you out right now. I'm going to play you to a game of 11
That's fine.
at Mingo
Then we
Creek.
have to box. We have to have a boxing match as well.
That's only after you lose and you're all pissed off and you have no other way to
No,
beat
I just
me.
think that's like it's fair. Like you have
Because
to do
I
something
will
you're good
run
at,
circles
not to-
around you. I'll jump over you.
It's
I'll
not
block
true.
every
It's not
shot.
true. It's not
But
true.
anyway,
You'll get
now's the
tired
point of the
after
show where
point
we
10.
get to the Drinking Bro of the Week. Someone who's inspired you, whether it be to do the podcast or to play hockey. Who has inspired you the most?
That's alive.
That's live.
It's a lie.
All right, so I know this is going to sound
Cliche.
Cliche.
Oprah Winfrey.
No.
I was going to say the same thing.
Nope.
Joel Osteen.
Nope.
Right there with you.
Meghan Markle.
No, my mom,
Oh, Mom. What's Mom's name?
Julie.
No, I want the full name because I'm going to look her up on Facebook and then try to fuck her later.
Oh, she's not on there.
I'm just kidding. I would
Kind
never
of,
fuck
sort
your
of, but
mother,
not really.
What's her name again?
Julie.
Julie. That's a pretty name.
Yes.
That's a beautiful name. Where's Julie live?
Messina.
Messina.
Yep, Messina,
shit.
New York. Yep.
Oh, okay. And she raised you. Is she a hockey fan?
So funny story. She can't stand hockey.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, how can a mother
Getting up at 5 in the morning,
Yeah.
buying all that equipment, especially as a goalie, and I mean,
Well, no. Actually, I
I
never
don't know if your
owned my
son's
own.
ever going to come home alive.
I never owned my own goalie equipment. I always told my mom to stay home because every time she showed up, I got injured, whether it was playing hockey or soccer. But I used the league's equipment for the longest time, and then I finally was able to afford my own and go from there. But she's mine because, you know, when you're younger, you never look at your parents like, oh my God, they could be my heroes someday, or just kind of like instilling things in you. Well,
DistillingCompany.com.
But she instilled a work ethic in me without me even realizing it when I was growing up. And that work ethic kind of like folded over to me. I put work before a lot of things because I know my work ethic will shine more than my personality at times, but my personality and my work ethic kind of combine together. I know a lot of people over the past year, they can't really be around me because of everything that's going on, because I don't want to get into politics or anything. Or everything.
No, I mean,
that's
it's
going
fine
on.
because we're for the Drinking Bros community, and you know, everybody's kind of we don't give a fuck. You can wear whatever you want to wear and not wear whatever you want to wear, which is what's fun about this show is that you can literally say it. And I know that you left your former podcast because you couldn't say what you wanted to say, or actually you did say what you wanted to say and they canceled you.
Exactly.
Ish. We don't cancel anybody for having any beliefs at all. I mean, look, we keep busting Joe around here, and I don't agree with even 10% of what he has to say on a nightly basis.
not on the show, maybe behind closed doors.
Oh.
I'm not sure if he was hitting on me or where that's going.
But my mom, me and my mom had a conversation. She's like, why are you such a little asshole? I'm like, well, look at the bitch that raised me.
Oh, man.
So she was like, why don't you just do this and this? I'm like, because you raised someone to not always jump off the bridge. Because one of her questions is, so if everybody was jumping off the bridge, would you do it?
100%.
Mom's staple. A mom's
If everybody's
And
doing it and they're
so-
living, I'm doing it because it looks like a great time. Look, I was trying to close out, speaking of your mom, I was trying to close out all these tabs on my computer, and here's John Hamm's dick right in my face. This thing is a fucking hog, guys. He's got the Under Armour pants on. You can see the full definition. He's circumcised. He's circed. No doubt about that. You can see a beautiful head on that penis. So to close out the show, get on Google, look up John Hamm's dick, follow What the Puck podcast. Until next time, guys, this is Drinking Bro Sports Tailgate Legend Show.
Happy birthday to you, Hockey Jesus. Happy birthday to you, Hockey
That's me.
Jesus. Happy birthday. Shout out to all the moms out
dear
there.
Hockey Jesus.
I'm 25.
Happy
And
birthday.
single? Question mark? Question mark?
Yes.
And single.
Very.